Hey Gauteng, in today's video we're going to check out question 8 of the grade 12 chemistry paper 2 2025 Gauteng Prelim, where we're going to work through galvanic cells over here. So let's jump right in. So it says a learner was asked to build a functioning galvanic cell. The following are provided. So we have a magnesium rod, a copper rod, a 1 mol.dm to the negative 3 sodium carbonate solution, a 1 mol.dm to the negative 3 magnesium sulfate solution, and a 1 mol.dm to the negative 3 copper 2 sulfate solution. Okay, so we're going to have to build this. They've given us the components. All of them have a standard concentration of 1 mol.dm to the negative 3. And then what we have over here, it says a partially labeled galvanic cell built by the learner is shown below. So we have 1, our electrode, 2, the other electrode. We have our salt bridge over here. The key that it's galvanic is a salt bridge and that they're in 2 beakers. Then we have 3, the ions that are in this beaker, and 4, the ion or electrolyte solution that is in this beaker. Okay, so 8.1 over here says if the electrons move from the left electrode over here to the right electrode over here, label the parts 1 to 4 using the information provided. Okay, so if we have electron flow over here in the external circuit, it means that this is our anode and this is our cathode. Our anode in a galvanic cell is negative and the cathode is positive, which is why the negatively charged electrons are moving towards the positive cathode in the external portion of our circuit. Okay, so a reminder that galvanic and electrolytic has to do with the movement of electrons, and we have oil rig. So this means oxidation is the loss of electrons and reduction is the gain of electrons. If we lose electrons, something negative, we become more positively charged. And if we gain something negative, we become more negatively charged. Okay, another memory device for this section is we have an ox. So we have an ox over here and we have red cat. So an ox tells us that oxidation occurs at the anode over here. And then this one tells us that reduction is taking place at the cathode, which means we know this is the cathode, and that means we're going to have reduction over here, and we know this is the anode, and therefore we're going to have oxidation over here. Okay, and as we mentioned, an anode is negatively charged in a galvanic cell and a cathode is positively charged in a galvanic cell. Okay, another component of a galvanic cell is that it converts chemical energy into electrical energy. So we're going to put these chemicals in these 2 beakers and we're going to form electricity. If there was an ammeter over here or a voltmeter, we would see that electrons are flowing. We would get some sort of voltage and there would be current as well. These are just things to keep in mind as we build our cell and figure out which rod will be our anode, which rod will be our cathode, and then which solutions would work best based off of the rods. Okay, so if we're going to look here at our table 4b, we can then compare some things because we're looking for magnesium and copper specifically. Okay, so if we look for magnesium over here, we can see that we have magnesium over here, Mg2 plus 2E goes to Mg over there. Okay, and then if we're looking for copper, we're going to look for copper, but not with an ion on both sides, because this has a plus over here and this has a 2 plus over there. If we move down a little bit, we'll see that we have Cu2 plus 2E minus goes to Cu over there, which means we're looking for our Cu and our magnesium just because these are the 2 options we had here for the types of rods that we're dealing with. And then what we have on the side over here is that as we go down, we increase oxidizing ability. Oxidizing ability is backwards, which means it is the thing that is more likely to reduce. Okay, which means that if we only have the 2 options of magnesium and copper, and the thing that is lower down with a more positive electrovoltage over here is the thing that undergoes reduction. If we're going to reference our little note here that we have an ox and red cat, if we want the oxidation reaction at the anode, it means it'll be the thing that is more negatively charged. So as we move here, increase reducing ability, that means it is more likely to oxidize as we move higher up. So we have an ox over here, the anode oxidation occurs and magnesium is higher up on our table 4b with a more negative voltage, which means that magnesium would work best as the negative anode over here, which means that if we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here, we now know that our anode, number 1, will be our magnesium rod. That means 2 over here, our cathode, will be our copper rod by elimination. And that means we've dealt with both of the electrodes. Now we just have to see which solution would work best with each of them. Because as we can see here, we have magnesium sulfate and copper 2 sulfate. Sodium carbonate is the odd man out because it doesn't have the same metal as the rod. Usually we would take the magnesium sulfate and put that in the solution with the magnesium electrode, okay? Because when we do, we put MgSO4. We put our MgSO4. These two guys break off, which means we get Mg2 plus ions over there, and then SO4 2 minus spectator ions over there. So we put the whole MgSO4 in there, and these guys break off, and then we get the Mg2 plus in that same beaker, which works very well for us, especially considering our reaction is Mg, and then it breaks off, and we have Mg2 plus 2 electrons, okay? Which means we put the solution of magnesium sulfate in the same beaker where we have the magnesium rod over there. So that means number 3 here will be our magnesium sulfate. And that means last move would be to put the copper 2 sulfate in this solution here where we have our copper electrode over there for our cathode. Because then we put Cu, SO4, and same thing happens. We get Cu2 plus, that breaks off over there. We get the SO4 2 minus, once again just a spectator ion, doesn't get involved in our galvanic reaction. And then we'll have the electrons flowing in that circuit as well, which means we can just go ahead and write copper 2 sulfate over there. And that would build us the cell because we don't want to use the sodium carbonate as any of our electrolyte solutions. So there we go. So if the electrons moved from the left electrode to the right electrode, label the parts 1 to 4 using the information provided. That would earn us 4 marks over there. Because then 8.2 over here says write down the equation for the half reaction taking place at the cathode. So at the cathode over here, we have reduction taking place. Reduction is the gain of electrons, which means we're going to have our ion plus however many electrons we have, and this is going to form the metal that we're dealing with. Okay, which means we're gaining electrons. These electrons are floating in our reactant side over here, and then they're going to form as part of the metal over there on the product side, which means that we know at the cathode we had the copper. We're just going to have to reference table 4b in order to write this equation with the correct charges and the correct amount of electrons. Because as we go here, reduction is the gain of electrons, which means we're moving this way. Cu2 plus 2e minus goes to Cu over there, which means we can just go ahead and write that. Cu2 plus 2e minus goes to Cu. And if we wrote this with a double arrow, we would lose 1 mark, or if we wrote it with an arrow in the wrong direction, we would then get no marks over there. So if we write it like this, with reduction is the gain of electrons happening at the cathode, we have then got our ions and our electrons forming the metal on the right side. Okay, and that would earn us 2 marks over there, because then 8.3 says calculate the initial EMF of this cell under standard conditions. Because if we look over here, we have the formula for our cell under standard conditions on our formula sheet, which means we have the E cell over here, which is the E cathode minus E of anode. So we can just go ahead and write that along. So our electrovoltage of the cell equals the electrovoltage of the cathode minus the electrovoltage of the anode. And one thing to keep in mind is that considering the cell is all about converting chemical energy into electrical energy, we have to have a positive value here. If we didn't get a positive value, it means we switched up and made a mistake of which one is our cathode and which one is our anode. Okay, so that means the cathode, we know we're looking at the copper. So if we're going to reference our table, we can see that the charge of copper, Cu2 plus 2e minus, goes to Cu, has an electrovoltage, like we can see here, of 0.34. So we can write 0.34 and then minus in brackets over here, because we're going to have a negative value for our magnesium, minus 2.36. So Mg2 plus 2e goes to Mg, and we have negative 2.36. So minus 2.36. Okay, which means we have 2.7 volts over here. And we have a positive value because a negative and a negative makes a positive, which means that if we accidentally swap them, say now we had negative 2.36 minus positive 0.34, we would end up having a negative value, which means that, okay, this thing that we thought was the cathode is actually the anode, and this thing that we thought was the anode is actually the cathode. And it just means we have to swap them, and then we'd go back in the test and make any changes we needed to, like question 8.1, for example, when we built the cell that we had. Okay, which means that would earn us 4 marks over there, which is quite nice. And then 8.4 says state one function of the salt bridge. Okay, so the salt bridge over here allows these ions to pass through. So this Mg2 plus and the Cu2 plus allows them to pass through both ways. So we have these ions passing through the salt bridge while the electrons flow in the external circuit from anode to cathode. Okay, which means that the salt bridge completes the circuit by maintaining electrical neutrality because it provides a pathway for the ions to be exchanged. Okay, so that would earn us 1 mark over there as we stated one function of the salt bridge. Okay, and then 8.5 says, how will the following changes affect the initial EMF, the E voltage that we had of 2,7 volts of the cell? So write only increase, decrease, or remain the same. 8.5.1 says the concentration of the Mg2 plus ions is increased. Okay, so if we go ahead and write down our Mg2 plus reaction over here, which takes place at the anode, and then oxidation occurs at the anode, which means we're losing electrons. It means we have Mg goes to Mg2 plus 2E minus, which means that in this beaker over here on the left over there, where our Mg2 plus is, they have increased the concentration of the Mg2 plus ions, and they're asking us how will this affect the electrovoltage, the amount of initial volts that passes in the circuit. And considering we have oxidation, which is the loss of electrons over here, and we want to lose electrons so that the voltage can then increase, if we have increased the Mg2 plus, imagine this was a two-way arrow, it would slow down the oxidation process, because if we have increased the side, we would favor the reverse reaction. Or another way of putting it is that there would be less of a tendency for this Mg to break down into Mg2 plus and 2E minuses. Okay, so if we have increased the ions of a side, we have to see how that is affecting what we want from it. Because oxidation, we want it to break down, but if we have added more Mg2 plus, therefore it would slow down the oxidation process, and therefore this whole thing would just decrease. So we can just go ahead and write decrease over here, and that would earn us 2 marks over there. And then 8.5.2, last question says the area of the copper rod is increased. Okay, so our copper rod is up here, top right electrode, and they have increased the area. So what was this size, they now made a lot bigger, like that, for example. And we have already written our equation for reduction, but this does not work the same way as increasing the ions, okay? Because our reduction is gain, which means we'd have Cu2 plus 2E minus ions. This would go to Cu, and if we have increased the area of the copper, we might think that we might have more of this, and therefore, if there's more of this, it will favor the reverse reaction and it'll be less likely for reduction to take place in order to complete the circuit. But this doesn't work. That can only work if we're increasing or affecting the ions in some way. If we are just increasing the area of the copper rod, it just means that there'll be more area for the same amount of stuff to react. Doesn't mean it will react quicker or slower, and therefore it will not affect our voltage. Our voltage will not increase or will not decrease. It will stay the same. So therefore we can just go ahead and write remains the same, as increasing the area of the copper rod will not change the initial EMF. The only other thing that could change the initial EMF was if we went to our electronegativity, and instead of taking copper metal over here, we could take something like silver, for example, which is lower down, has a higher oxidizing ability or is a greater reducing agent, and therefore has a greater positive charge of 0.80 instead of 0.34 over there. Okay, which means that would be the only type of change we can make as far as the metal portion in order to affect the initial EMF. But actually just increasing the area of the copper rod does not change any of that. Okay, so that would earn us 1 mark over there and 14 marks for this whole section. Great job, guys. Let me know if there are any questions in the comments below, and then I will see you in the next video.